Hey guys, J-Man37X here bringing you another episode of Cookie Clicker Gardens 101, where I kind of take you guys through the Cookie Clicker Garden minigame and all the different assets of it. This time we're going to be focusing on the basics of crossbreeding, so this is primarily just going to be the kind of techniques that you use to crossbreed either one or two different types of plants, and only plants with two parents. So, first off, you'll see that right now we have no other seeds, so there's really only one thing that we can crossbreed, and that's baker's wheat with itself. So we'll just go ahead and plant a few of these. This is the most efficient layout for these, or at least for the level 9 farm. This is the most efficient way that you can crossbreed. It only requires 10 plants, so it's the cheapest one, and every single space here has a potential to have a mutation. So to recap a bit from last episode, how this works is that every tick, a space is able to have a plant grow on it if a few criteria are met. First off, it has to have 2 of the 8 adjacent spaces contain, well, 2 or more. It has to have spaces in the 8 corresponding plots with the necessary parents, which I'll be getting into. I think at some point I'll do a couple of videos where I just go over every single plant, what their parents need to be, and what their effects are and whatnot. But for this case, we'll go with the example of thumbcorn, because that's what we're going to be growing next. Thumbcorn requires that it has 2 parents and that they are both baker's wheat. So if we take this tile here, for example, you'll see that in the 8 adjacent spaces, it has 2 baker's wheat, so this is able to grow a thumbcorn. Now this also requires that the plants are mature. As you can see right now, they are only buds. So as of right now, there are no mutations that can occur. There are some plants that are able to spread without being mature. These will be special examples that I might get into later on. It's usually not too important to keep that in mind. So with that, you'll see that every single plot of land has at least 2 baker's wheat adjacent to it. So every single plot of land here can potentially grow a thumbcorn. However, there are some other things that have 2 baker's wheats as a parent. I believe I have it pulled up over here. Baker's wheat is one of them. Most of the time when you try and crossbreed baker's wheat, you're just going to get more baker's wheat. However, you can also get thumbcorn. You can also get bakeberry, which is very rare. Bakeberry is a very good plant, especially early on, because as I said, it only requires baker's wheat, so you could potentially get it right off the bat, but it is incredibly rare that you get it. So I think for this portion, I'm just going to go ahead and speed up the growing process here, because as you can see, I highly recommend while you do this, before we do that, while the plants are growing, you want to have fertilizer, which ticks every 3 minutes, so the ticks happen quicker, so the plants all grow faster. However, once they are fully grown, I suggest if you have it unlocked, you'll want to switch to wood chips, because as you can see, plants spread and mutate 3 times more. As we went over last time, this is very good for getting mutations. But having the fertilizer for the meantime helps to get to that point fast. So as you can see, it's going to take about 10 minutes and about 4 ticks worth of time. So while this portion is going to be sped up for so the plants can grow, but while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and flash on screen what the other most efficient layouts are for each level of farm. As you can see, like I said, these are, right now we're only looking at plants that have the same parent, so it has like 2 or more of, well, in this case just 2 of the exact same plant, so in this case baker's wheat. This would also work for if you were growing if you have thumbcorns growing, then you can, by having 2 of them, you can grow more thumbcorn, or you can grow baker's wheat, I believe, with 2 thumbcorns, so this would also work for that. That's not particularly useful to do that, but that's just another example of a plant that grows with 2 of the same parent. Later this episode, we will get into plants that grow with 2 different parents, but that will happen once these are grown, once we have thumbcorns to show for it. We'll get into a bit more of that. So as you can see, all of our baker's wheat was fully grown, and it's also good to note that as soon as the plant turns mature, that same exact tick, it can also potentially spread mutations, which you saw happen here. You'll notice that's why I will typically put wood chips on one tick before they're going to mature, because so this ticks every 3 minutes. If you switch off of this to a different one, it will retain the same tick timer. You may have noticed that. It might have been going too fast. I shouldn't notice it. But, so, when I switched off of this to this, the tick timer was still at, like, 2 minutes, 40 seconds, or however much time was left from this. But you still get the effect of the new soil type. So that potentially allows you to get the wood chip effect with only having to wait for, 3 minutes. But, of course, you can only do that once every 10 minutes, so it's not the most useful thing, you know, and you can't, like, abuse it or anything. But, anywho, as you can see here, we got a few baker's wheats. But most importantly, we got a few thumbcorns here. So this is what we're looking for here. And these take a little bit to mature. I'm actually going to go ahead and use a sugar lump so we can switch over to... Oh, that's right. I forgot doing that. Also, so if you use a sugar lump, it will reset the soil timer, trigger a growth tick, and it will have triple spread and mutation rate. So that's kind of what you just saw happen there. I just wanted to be able to switch to the fast growing. So, but as you can see now, it's only 5 minutes until this thumbcorn grows, and once the thumbcorn matures, we'll be able to harvest it, which will give us the seed permanently unlocked over here. So that's how you go about unlocking plants in this game, is basically you just have to, you know, if you don't want to look anything up, you just crossbreed different plants and try and find different combinations and just kind of wait until the plants are mature, harvest them to collect their seeds, and then you can use that plant to try and potentially get more different crossbreeds. So we are going to go ahead and speed it up again, I think, so that we can harvest the thumbcorn. So I will see you guys in just a second here. So there we go. As you can see, our thumbcorn is now mature. We can click on it, and there we go. Unlock thumbcorn seed. As you can see there. I went again. You'll notice I cleared some of these out, and that's because I realized that I could potentially be trying to work towards bakerberry as well. No big deal. I didn't end up getting it. Like I said, it's pretty rare. So, okay. So now we will be moving on to the next part of this video, which is how to crossbreed with 2 different parents. So, it's very similar to what you see here. I'm actually just going to keep, actually, those are going to decay. I'm just going to go ahead and harvest them. Just harvest everything there. So, we'll go ahead and plant the baker's wheat in these different spots. Just making sure I'm doing it right here. I haven't done this in a little while. Okay, and then we put this in these empty spots. And there we go. So this is the most efficient layout for a level 9 farm. Basically the idea here is, similarly to before, you want to try and maximize the number of spaces that have the corresponding parents adjacent. But in this case, we need to maximize the one that has both of these different parents. So, you'll notice here that almost every single space does have one of the 2 parents adjacent. The problem actually comes from the fact that, for example, so for this particular layout, there's 4 problematic spaces. Here, 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 and here. And you may notice that all 4 of those are spaces in which they have 2 baker's wheat adjacent, as well as the desired parents. So basically what can happen here is that this space, instead of getting the child of these 2, which in this case I believe is chrono rice, you can potentially get the child of 2 baker's wheats. So you could potentially get a baker's wheat thumbcorn or bakeberry here, instead of the chrono rice that you want. So that's just kind of a small caveat to this method. There are some of the efficient layouts that don't do this. I'll go ahead and flash on screen what those are now while we speed through the growing of these plants here. So you'll notice a small handful of them have this problem. A few of them don't, actually. The alternate layout to level 6, the layout to level 7, 8, and then 1 and 2, but those are pretty small. So potentially a level 8 layout may actually be your best option, depending. But I believe the level 9 still has the most number of correct spaces, even accounting for the 4 that may yield something you don't want. So yeah, those are the best layouts for growing something with 2 parents. And I believe in a future video we might get into the specific plants. There are some late game gardening plants that have weird numbers of parents and they require really weird combinations. So that I think I will get into another video. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and speed through here, wait for these all to become mature, and then hopefully we can harvest our chrono rice to be able to show for it. So I will see you guys then. And there we go. We had to get through one tick where none of the chrono rice appeared. But as you can see here, baker's wheat growing here means that it actually did get the child of these 2 baker's wheats to make this. So that's just kind of showing that that does actually happen. But here you see we have a few chrono rice here. These are going to take a very long time to mature, so I'm not going to worry about showing you guys those once we, showing these harvested. But you can see that this setup does indeed result in chrono rice. So using these 2 techniques with the 2 different types of farming, either with single parent or 2 different parents, or 1 type or 2 types, I mean, this will allow you to get the vast majority of the plants in the game, besides some of the ones way later on that you don't really have to worry about for right now. But again, we'll get into some of the more advanced crossbreeding plants a bit later on, I think. But for the meantime, I believe that should just about cover everything that I wanted to on the crossbreeding. This is a very long recording, but it's just because I gotta do a bunch of speed ups to get through the growing portions. But yeah, I believe that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this video. The format, the subject matter. If you guys think I did a good job covering it, let me know if this video helped you guys out. And let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do my next gardens video on, because I'm a little unsure of where I want to go next. I could go in the direction of starting to show off some of the plants, just like going down the list and showing you guys some of the different plants, what their crossbreed recipes are, and what their effects are. I could also go over the weeds mechanic, where weeds sometimes pop up in your garden and can potentially mess stuff up, but the weeds are an important part of getting some plants later on. So I could go over that side of things if you guys want. If there's any other ideas you guys have, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Like I said, in the future I would expect, definitely at some point I'm going to do videos on all the stuff that I just talked about, but I'm just wondering what you guys want to see next. I also plan on doing a video eventually on the upgrades and achievements that you get related to the gardens. That won't be until much later on. I'm probably going to wait to do that until we have most of the plants covered, because you get basically some plants later on drop upgrades sometimes when you harvest them, and it's mostly plants much later on that drop upgrades, so I'm not going to worry about those too much right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Also, feel free to check out my twitch.tv channel where I stream. Currently I'm streaming La Milana 2, indie that recently came out. It's a lot of fun, and so I'd appreciate if you guys check out my Twitch. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you guys tune in for the next Gardens 101 video, where we will, I guess, just do what you guys want to see me do. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.